Hello everyone, my name is SUZUKI Akito. I would like to talk about fast food. This is today's outline. Firstly, introduction of my presentation. Secondly, people's image for the fast food. Thirdly, comparison with American and Japanese. Fourthly, what we should do prevent the harm by fast food. Finally, I'll talk about my conclusion. Let's start. The purpose of my research is to indicate the relation between fast food and health. It is said that fast food is bad for our health. I think so too. To demonstrate that, I'll indicate people's image for fast food and the relation between fast food and health by using data comparing the Japanese and the American. At last, I'll talk about what we should do to prevent the harm by fast food. By the way, do you like fast food? I like it so-so. Look at this graph. According to a 13 survey, about 70% of people like it. Conversely, the number of people who hate fast food is very small. Next, please look at this graph. It shows people's answers for the question about whether using fast food is good for our health. The 30% of people answered it was very bad for our health, and the 58% of the people answered it was bad for our health. As we can understand from this data, many people like fast food but think it is bad for our health. The American is said to eat the most fast food in the world. On the other hand, traditional Japanese food is said to be very healthy. Therefore, compare the American and Japanese. At first, please look at this graph. It shows how often the American and the Japanese go to fast food chain store each. 40% of the American do so at least a time a week. In contrast, only 10% of the Japanese do so at least a time a week. As we can understand from this graph, the Americans eat much more fast food than Japanese. Next, please look at above list. It shows American and Japanese average of height and weight and BMI. BMI means body mass index. For example, if the number of your BMI is very high, you are very fat. And if the number of your BMI is very low, you are very thin. The number of Japanese BMI is about 22.5, and the number of American BMI is about 28. We find our BMI by using this expression. And please look at following list. According to this list, the Americans are fat figure on the average. In contrast, the Japanese are normal figure on the average. Finally, please look at this data. As many as 36.2% of the American has fatness. However, only 3.6% of the Japanese has fatness. As we can understand from this data, we can guess that people who often eat fast food tend to become fatter than people who sometimes eat fast food. By the way, fast food contains not only high calories and few vitamins, but also food additives such as preservatives and so on. Please look at these pictures. They are ones taken for a certain experiment. Its content is that a hamburger has remained to be left for a long time. Two pictures taken 171 days later and 79 days later are similar to a picture taken before the experiment. From this experiment, we can understand that hamburgers contain a lot of preservatives. By the way, food additives may cause cancer. So we should take too many food additives. Actually, there are campaigns to stop the spread of fast food. They are called Slow Food Campaign. This is the logo of Fast Food Slow Food Campaign. This snail means irony that meals should be cooked and eaten slowly. These are pictures about the state of slow food campaign. Slow food campaigns are carried out all over the world. At last, I would like to talk about my conclusion. As we can understand from my research, it is not good to eat too much fast food. I'm happy if you reconsider your habit of diet through this presentation. These are references. Thank you for listening.